Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome back to more adventures with the new Missouri DLC with American Truck Simulator. When we last left off, we were in Joplin, Missouri in this underground facility, and we have picked up a load of rental cars to take to Alamo up in Jefferson City. This will be about a 4.5 hour delivery. We should get 2 cities with the event now. And I just want to get these, we had to drive all the way over to the other side of this facility. And it looks like we can do like a little loop around here. My shifter here is loose. I got to tighten this up. There we go, that should be better. So I thought I'd just take a little bit of a loop around here and check this out. This thing is absolutely massive. And a lot of comments on the last video about Missouri, things we want to talk about in this episode. So we'll do that as we kind of make our way all around here. I just want to kind of check this out. There's lots of just pickups and everything in here. These are real things in Missouri? Like, I guess one of the questions I have is, the obvious question I have is, why are they underground? Like, why didn't they just put them... Oh, maybe I get it, right? So they're saving space. They just dug them all underground and they have the buildings and everything and the factories and all that kind of stuff above ground. Is that kind of how, or is it like a shopping mall and then they put all these places? Well, it looks like we can get out this way, which will be even faster. No, it won't be because we have to go around in different directions. So maybe this is like an underground delivery place for all of the factories and everything that are above ground. That would make a lot of sense, right? Because then they wouldn't have to have... They could save all of the parking and stuff like that for pedestrians, and you wouldn't have to kind of clutter up the above ground space with vehicles and trucks coming in for making deliveries and things. I bet that's it. We need to go 11. We need to go over here. There we go. But we'll get on our way here. Let me just show you real quick the route before we do. So we're going to be leaving this subtropolis place and then driving up Interstate 49. We need to get gas, and I did turn off the fatigue simulation for a little bit here because we're completely exhausted and there's no place to sleep. And in real life, we would probably sleep in the truck here too. So once we get that sorted out, and then we're going to cut over to the east here. They're just coming to the southwest of Jefferson City. Next episode, we'll pick up this viewpoint and the photo opportunity there. Altogether, about 4.5 hours. We'll see you as we head out of this facility. So we are leaving the underground facility behind us, heading out of Joplin, and lots of comments to talk about, as I mentioned, and a couple of them about Joplin. One is that Christopher Mangela pointed out that Joplin has a particularly devastating tornado history. So it was hit by the 7th worst tornado in U.S. history, killed over 100 people way back in 2011. And Megatron Concepticon speculates that there is a housing industry site, construction delivery spot in the game that perhaps represents the fact that the city was hit so hard by the tornado in real life, and that's representing the rebuilding efforts from that tornado way back in 2011. So that was an interesting fact about Joplin, and I wonder, we probably could check that delivery spot out at some point. Why am I... There we go. Okay. It's tough. Driving and talking and shifting at the same time. It's not quite there. When I'm just driving, when I'm not talking by myself, the getting used to the shifter is a lot easier, but it's still, the talking adds another level of brain drain that then it makes me forget that, oh yeah, I need to shift as well. But we're up to 17th gear now. We should be cruising for a little while. We've got a rest area coming up down there too. And then also connected to Joplin as we leave it behind us, the comments, the musings I had about Route 66, a lot of answers about those in the comments. In particular, there was that Route 66 mural in downtown Joplin that we checked out as a photo opportunity. And Paul Fox says there was a Chuck Berry song about Route 66. And so perhaps that's the reason why that's there. That clears up one element, but still I was wondering why Springfield, Missouri is referred to as kind of a famous Route 66 point. And Megatron Concepticon also posted about that. He said, yes, Route 66 runs from Chicago all the way to Los Angeles. Whoops, drive and read and talk, a little bit tricky. But he points out that Springfield, Missouri is perhaps where they came up, is where they came up with the idea of calling it Route 66. So it's kind of the origin of the name, perhaps. They were in Springfield, Missouri, when they had the conversation, they decided they were going to call it Route 66. So I guess that's why it's considered the birthplace of Route 66, was more the conceptual idea rather than this is where the road starts, because it's right in, perhaps like even closer, like somewhere in the middle than it is at any beginning point here. All right, so we should just go around the corner here. Whoops, 11th gear's not going to work. And now we're packing. All right, that car's waiting for us. That car's on over there. Now that car's going. Seriously? Oh, now he's backing up. Okay. Fun times in Missouri here. So much for a perfect delivery again. There we go. We're around it. That one really wasn't our fault, though, right? Because we were driving, and then they stopped to let us go, and then they decided just to ram us. And I stopped still in plenty of time for them to react, but they didn't. So, anyway, McDonald's off on the left. Forget what I was talking about now, but we'll go up here and check out this rest stop, and then we will get some gas here too, and then be back out on our way in the daylight. All right, we slept over here to our right. We got gas over here to our left. Time for us to head back out on the road here and head back up towards Jefferson City. Let's get over here. Should be fine. Let's see if we get the shifting. No cars coming. In pretty good shape. And we should be back out on our way. Ruh-roh. We've got a little bit of road blockage up here, but I think there's room on the right here. I can squeeze right through this. No worries. Let's get down to 9th gear. This is usually blocked off. We'd have more obstacles coming up here, but we aren't taking the detour, that's for sure. Detours are optional here. Let's see how this works out. I expect to see the accident up ahead here, though. It could be tricky to get around. What have we got here? Oh, no, this is pretty easy. There's not even a helicopter here. We'll just slide by on the right here. There's no reason to close the highway for that. And we have made it. Excellent. So, relatively easy obstacle to avoid here. Back out on the road. Nothing will deter us delivering our rental cars. Finally got a shifting sequence down now for these trucks, and the idea to skip more than one gear, so skip more than 2 gears, is working out pretty well. So I'm going 3, 7, 9, and then slide right up into 11, and that gets me going. It seemed to be picking up faster too, so slowly but surely the gears are, the shifter is starting to be less of a hindrance here, although it still is challenging, as I mentioned, to talk, drive, and shift. We'll keep out on our way here. Still some comments to talk about here as we head across Missouri on this dreary... dreary is the wrong word, right? Rain is fun, too. So, it's a little rainy Missouri day. Kind of got my eyes peeled open here for a potential hidden road here. It's this type of road where I feel like they're really susceptible to... Well, no, susceptible is the wrong word, but they're likely to be on a road like this. This, single lane each way... Lots of opportunities and space in the game map to put in spaces. I've been checking each one down the side there. Nope, that's not one. Whoops. This one here? Nope. All got fences on them, but we got our eyes open. Have to find one in Missouri. There's got to be hidden roads in Missouri somewhere. I wonder if there's any kind of Easter eggs on it. Speaking of which, there was a comment on the past one, I think I mentioned it too, that I do want to get back to, is to find the Yellow Brick Road Easter egg in the southeastern part of Kansas. So that's going to be something I think we'll do after we get through the Missouri event here. I really want to check that out. The comment said it was really good, so that'll be fun to do. Last episode, we talked about the prize, not the prize, but the rewards you get for the event here, one of which is the mule paint job. And Paul Fox put a comment up putting some context around that. He says there is a Missouri saying called stubborn as a Missouri mule. Now we're really keeping busy, trying to look for hidden roads and read and drive and talk, all these kinds of things. So that apparently is a Missouri saying. And there is a University Central Missouri State mascot. The Central Missouri State University mascot is a mule as well. So perhaps that would explain why they picked a mule. Although, I mean, I don't like to be critical, right? It's free stuff, and it's not really a big deal at all. But why can't I get... There we go. Oh, that's not a gear. Okay. But I do tend to agree with Logan Boone's comment, who says, not a big fan of the paint job. Yeah, the mule just doesn't really inspire me, right? I mean, I don't think like, oh, mule, cool. Like a bear. Yeah, cool. A ram. Yeah, that's awesome. Even that bird, like the Kansas bird one, was really cool, I thought. I feel like we're going too fast here. We are. Slow down, and we have to stop. So yeah, I'm not a super big fan of the paint job, and he suggested a cardinal would be pretty good. And I thought, yes, because you have the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, one of the iconic franchises in American baseball is the St. Louis Cardinals. That would have been a good choice. He also says that the catfish is the state fish. Interestingly enough, I would assume that the cardinal would have been the state bird, but it's not. The blue jay is the state bird of Missouri. So lots of choices. A blue jay would have been pretty cool too. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the mule, but we'll deal with it. So anyway, about an hour and 20 minutes left to go. Still more comments to talk about as we make our way down the road here. I haven't seen a hidden road yet, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. A little bit under an hour left, and I want to talk a little bit about a lengthy couple of comments and very informative couple of comments from Jack Ryan, who, interestingly enough, says he was a truck driver for 35 years. He's now a train operator, but he drove trucks both in the U.S. and Europe. And he had some interesting comments to say that driving trucks in Europe is far more challenging than here in the States. Narrower roads, exits, and entrances. Add to that countless cyclists who don't consider other road users. And that's because it is a cycling nation. So for sure, that's something I wouldn't have considered. But interesting comments about which continent is harder to drive in. That makes sense. I mean, I do like the nimbleness of the European trucks for sure, but I can also see how in real life driving in those narrow roads could be very, very challenging. Just more congested driving in general, and in the cyclists. It'd be cool if there was a cyclist mod for the game. That would be pretty awesome. Sorting that out as I was reading and stuff like that. He says a tip in the game that I didn't know about, and I want to try this next time. If you're performing a difficult maneuver, like you get stuck and you have to cut across traffic and stuff like that, it says the AI will respond to hazard lights. So if you put on your hazard lights, they're going to stop for you and give you the right of way. So that would be good to use, like when we got stuck in Joplin and kind of got all messed up in traffic and stuff like that. So that could be a good tip to try out the next time. Thanks for that one. And lastly, a comment. I mean, there's enough in his comments right here. We could probably make a whole episode of comments on this. He says, if you really want a challenge, try setting all of the stability settings in the game: truck stability, trailer stability, drive shaft torque, suspension stiffness, and cabin suspension stiffness to 0%. And you'll get a sense of what it's really like to drive a truck. The same in ATS. Be careful the first time you do it with these settings on bends and curves. Whoops, we gotta get off here. So I think that sounds like a challenge episode to make, right? So real live settings. Jefferson City discovered an episode with all of the settings set to ultra realistic. That's, I think, challenge accepted here for that one. Whoops, we're going to get a fine for this, maybe. Nope, made it. Good. All right. I think that'd be kind of an interesting episode. And just to go on, so I was looking at, I think this is episode 120 something, 128, 129 in American Truck Simulator. And there's as many, I think there's a little more, 130 something in Euro Truck Simulator. So that's, oops, uphill on a gear shift is always fun. Hold it in place and just nurse it forward. Wow, there's a lot of traffic here. But, so about 250 episodes in the core series. Wow, this is endless traffic here. Here we go. Finally a break in the traffic. Across here. So 250 episodes in the core series, and then there's at least, I think, probably a total of 50 episodes in the Big Map series in the United States and in the Pro Mod series for Europe. So probably close to 300 episodes on this channel and then the old channel where I first had the episodes. And I've yet to flip over a truck, right? So it'd be interesting to try ultra realistic settings and see if I could not flip the truck over. Challenge accepted. That'll be coming up. I don't think I'll do it while we're in Missouri. I think I'll kind of finish the Missouri one here first and then do that. I notice when I'm talking to, I'm like completely butchering the shifting here. I forget to shift out of a lower gear and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get there. Eventually my brain will get bigger, right? And hopefully we get a nice 90 parking here. Challenge accepted, as always. One of my favorite parts of the game is parking. It's a 40. I think maybe they feel bad because of Greece, right? Which had like some of the hardest parking in the game. We definitely have to go back to Greece and try to park in a hotel, which is, a couple people mentioned that would be super challenging. This one, however, does not look all that challenging. Looks like we just have to kind of loop past the parking here, make as sharp a left turn as we possibly can, get the truck nice and lined up, go past it, then loop right in here, see if we can not wipe this car out. Get it nice and straight. Drop it into, let's get our mirrors up, into the right spot here. Looks like that is about as good as we're going to get it lined up. I think we might be able to back up out of our left side here with this, right? Pretty straightforward on this one. A little bit tight on this side, but I think it's still going to give it to us. Yeah, that actually wasn't a very good parking job for. Give it to us. Yes, okay. Not a very good parking job, actually, for one that easy. We are on the line here, but they gave it to us. We'll take it. Let's get our money, and we should get our first 2 cities in the event. Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything works here. And Joplin... still kind of nursing our way up to level 32, King of the Road. And let's see. Yes, we got our first 2 cities in cruising Missouri. I'll put a link to the next episode as soon as it's ready. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.